In the quaint village of Elmwood, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there was an old legend about a witch named Morgana who had a strange obsession with modern technology. Many years ago, when televisions first became a household item, Morgana had stolen several, using them to cast her spells and manipulate the villagers. Over time, the legend faded, but the fear remained. One foggy autumn evening, the Jones family settled into their cozy living room to watch their favorite TV show. As they laughed and chatted, the screen suddenly went blank. Mr. Jones fiddled with the remote and checked the cables, but nothing worked. Suddenly, a shadowy figure appeared on the screen. It was a woman with wild, tangled hair and piercing green eyes that seemed to see right through them. "Your TV is mine," the figure hissed, her voice a chilling whisper that sent shivers down their spines. The screen flickered and then went dark again. Confused and a little frightened, the family tried to shake off the eerie feeling. They decided it was just a technical glitch and went to bed. But that night, strange things began to happen. The Jones' youngest daughter, Emily, woke up to the sound of static. She tiptoed downstairs to find the TV on, displaying a swirling vortex of colors. "Come closer, child," Morgana's voice echoed from the screen. Mesmerized, Emily moved closer until she was standing right in front of the TV. Suddenly, a cold hand reached out from the screen, grabbing her wrist and pulling her in. The next morning, the family woke to find Emily missing. They searched the house frantically, but there was no sign of her. Then they noticed the TV. Emily's favorite teddy bear was lying in front of it, as if she had been watching it before she disappeared. Fear gripped their hearts as they remembered the witch on the screen. Desperate to find their daughter, the Joneses sought the help of Mrs. Willow, an elderly woman who lived on the edge of the village. She was known for her knowledge of old legends and strange occurrences. When they told her about the witch, Mrs. Willow's eyes widened with recognition. Mrs. Willow explained that Morgana had been banished years ago, but had found a way to return through the very devices she once coveted. To save Emily, they needed to confront the witch in her own domain, inside the TV. Armed with an ancient spellbook and Mrs. Willow's guidance, the family gathered in front of the TV that evening. They chanted the incantation, and the screen began to glow. One by one, they were pulled into the swirling vortex. Inside the TV, they found themselves in a nightmarish landscape of static and swirling colors. Morgana's laughter echoed around them as they navigated the twisted world. They followed the sound, determined to find Emily. Finally, they reached a dark, ominous castle made of flickering TV screens. Morgana stood at the entrance, her green eyes glowing with malice. She held Emily by the arm, her cold fingers digging into the girl's skin. The family joined hands, reciting the incantation Mrs. Willow had given them. The air crackled with energy as the spell took effect. Morgana screamed in rage, her form flickering and distorting. With one final burst of light, she vanished, and the castle began to crumble. Emily ran to her family, tears streaming down her face. They held each other tightly, relieved to be reunited. The world around them dissolved, and they found themselves back in their living room. The TV lay dark and silent, the spellbook resting on top of it. Mrs. Willow entered the room, her face lined with worry. "Is it done?" she asked. Mr. Jones nodded. "It's done." The family thanked Mrs. Willow and vowed to never forget the lesson they had learned. From that day on, they were more cautious about the technology they brought into their home, always remembering the witch who once stole their TV.